Hi, welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. I'm your host, Brian Koval. Before we get started, make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. If you want to see me play your favorite deck or your spicy brew on the channel, I take donation deck lists. I'll do a deck tech, play a full Magic Online League, and help tune your list. If that sounds good, check out my contact info. It's in the video description below. Now let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy, and this is a Bant Miracles deck requested by Patreon subscriber Sam. Sam wanted me to play a blue-white Miracles deck, and I talked to him about splashing green, because Abundant Harvest has been showing up in a lot of the Miracle-style decks lately, and I wanted to give that a try. So here we are. This list specifically is pretty interesting. This is from Matthew Vuk, Ozymandias 172, I think, on Magic Online. He is the Legacy format champion from last year, also Star City Legacy Open winner, generally just powerful Legacy wizard. The innovations here are 4 Abundant Harvest. I've seen like 2 or 3 floating around in some lists, but he's on the full 4. He also only played 16 lands with 4 Chrome Mox, which is very unusual in a deck like this. That's just like not technology that is normal in a control deck, because Chrome Mox, like generally control decks are trying to leverage card advantage and play a long game. Chrome Mox is spewing card advantage to get advantage in the short game, which is like directly the opposite of what control decks normally do. But Matt has built this deck to push that advantage, like 3 Sylvan Library. Like if you use Chrome Mox to cast Sylvan Library on turn 1, you're going to get that card back very quickly. Uro, if you start casting Uro on turn 2, you're going to get those cards back. If you can power out a Days Undoing with Narset, you'll get the cards back. So this deck is very cleverly built. I am a coward though, so I left in the 17th land and went down to 3 Chrome Mox. I'm just not ready to go into 4 Chrome Mox 16 lands in my control deck. So I have 17 and 3, but otherwise this is Matt's list, and he has excellent taste. So there's Monastery Mentor in the deck, 4 Uro. I really like the 2 Mentors, and not just because that's just connected to my brand and it's funny that I like it, but because a lot of the times, like if you watch my channel, you've seen me play against these Bant Uro decks. And a lot of the times, if Uro gets surgical extracted, you just lose the game. Like there are some that literally just have like 3 or 4 Uros, and then like a Snapcaster Mage or something that can actually deal damage to your opponent. Like Narset and Teferi are powerful, but they're not like Jace that can actually win a game. Like these just generate cards and different types of advantage over time. So I love that there's a very real win condition outside of the Uro, and these don't get answered in the same kind of way. So you need Graveyard Hate to answer Uro. You need Sweepers to answer Mentor. So like this does pull your opponent into very different directions. And then out of the sideboard, you have a bunch of 8 creatures, Monastery Mentor, Containment Priest, Hull Breacher. You get to pivot into just like a totally different sort of game, and you can just be like Bant Hate Bears kind of. I like that a lot. There's a lot I like about this list. I'm excited to try Abundant Harvest, so let's get into these games. I'm on the draw in round 1 with a pretty weird hand. Like, turn 2 Days Undoing is interesting, but like if they're Delver, this hand's insane. If they're combo, this hand is absolute garbage. I don't think I can keep a hand like this. Alright, so the 17 lands already hitting us here. So Tundra doesn't cast Abundant Harvest, or else this would be an easy keep. I think I have to go to 5. Jesus. Okay. Here we are. Days Undoing is not going to be helpful for a while. I think I want to ship a land, and I don't think I get to cast Force of Will with this hand. That just is what it is. I'm not going to 2-for-1 myself. If I lose to some turn 1 combo, I was going to lose anyway. Oh god. Maybe they're Eldrazi and they're about to cast the Chalice of the Void, and then we're dead. Yeah, obviously Mull to 4 in your control deck's not what you want to do, but we can play from here. Oh no, they're Maverick. That 2 Swords to Plowshare's hand would have been insane. Lesson learned. Okay, Ponder's great, because now I can fetch a basic island, play around Wasteland, and actually do something with the mana on turn 1. I don't want Days Undoing. Yeah, I actually don't want any of this. I'm in the market for like setting up a Terminus right now. Maverick was the top one of the top dogs of the Legacy metagame in 2011, and then Terminus was printed in 2012, and then Maverick disappeared for a very long time. And I am playing the very card that was its death knell. So I can't Terminus this turn, but if I draw it, I can Brainstorm into it. But I just had that pause in my draw step where they now know that I have Terminus. But that's okay. I can make this work. If they play Wasteland, I have to fetch. Or I would just fetch basic planes anyway. So unfortunately, the Magic Online draw step pause might have just given something away. So I have to end step Brainstorm, and then untap and Terminus. I'm going to put a stop in my draw step so I always pause, and they don't need, and it doesn't give away when I have Terminus. Yeah, this is going to be insane. Get the basic planes. B-Storm. Alright, so I don't want Tundra, because I don't want to get Wastelanded out of this game. Put these 2 back. Two mana. 3 for 1. Very nice. That's how you undo a mull to 4, by the way. So, Tundra's on top of my deck. I could fetch. I'm just not going to fetch. Like, it will depend on what they do. I don't know if I'm going to need a land or a spell yet with this Abundant Harvest, but if they do something medium, like just Knight of the Reliquary, Teferi bounce, will set them back a whole turn. Yeah, I don't care about Gaddock Teague in this spot. They needed that last turn. That must have been the top deck, or else they would have played it, right? I don't know. I am actually going to take the Tundra, because now I'm far enough ahead on everything that I don't mind getting wasted. And Abundant Harvest can find more lands if I need it to. I think I want to Abundant Harvest for a spell right now, though. Non-land. Alright, Days Undoing is now in my hand, and I'm holding the Narset. And I can Days Undoing at instant speed with Teferi, so that's all super nice. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow, even if I draw a land, I'm 1 mana short, but that's pretty close. That Chrome Mox powering out the Narset business. Pretty nice. I don't think I want to Days Undoing a Maverick opponent who is Hellbent. Like, I think I can just do way better than that. Chrome Mox, Brainstorm, Force of Will. I don't think I want any of this. I want removal right now. So I can plus this. So they've seen the Days Undoing, which means that they'll have to commit attacks at Narset if they don't want to get their hand shredded. Are there creatures in the graveyard? There are no creatures in the graveyard, so they won't be able to kill Teferi and Narset with their attacks. They'll have to pick one or the other. Force Negation's an easy pitch to the Chrome Mox in this matchup, so I like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, was I on 6 mana if I drew a land? I think I was. I just miscounted that. But now if I draw a land, I get to go nutty. Wow, they're just not even fighting over the Narset. I guess they're basically already hellbent, so that makes some sense. Height of Autumn, just being a giant creature is pretty good. Right. Oh wow, this is fun. So I get to Chrome Mox, pitching Force of Negation. And then I get to Chrome Mox pitching Narset. And then Days Undoing with 3 mana up. Storm is 2. So they have 1 card in hand, and they're still going to have 1 card in hand at the other end of this. But hopefully I find some Swords to Plowshares. Or just not, whatever. I'm going to lose Narset here, probably. I guess I can Brainstorm and possibly hit Terminus. Oh no, they have Teague, so I can't do that. I can't cast Force of Will either. And they are attacking Narset with 2 things. Yeah, I'm going to hold on to my Brainstorm. I can't save Narset, and I can Brainstorm with a fetch land next turn. So if I do just randomly draw Terminus off the top, I can trigger it and then Brainstorm looking for Swords to Plowshares for the Teague, and then Terminus the rest of the creatures. That's not what happened. So if I'm going to start with... So the Ponder can reset a Brainstorm, or the Brainstorm can reset a Terminus if I find it. But Force of Will is not helping me here anyway. So I'm going to start with Ponder. Uro is a good card, but it's not what I need here. I found the Plow. That's step 1. Now I have to come up with a Terminus somehow. Alright, I have all these Chrome Mox over here. I almost forgot about them. Sylvan Library is strong. I don't need all these lands. So Narset can find more spells. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm not quite dead on board. Chrome Mox, Days Undoing. Do I want to undo the day again, or do I want to ramp this mana? Like, I can exile the Force of Negation again that I don't super care about. Though, Days Undoing, getting another spin, but I'm not going to have Narset next turn. So I'll just exile Force of Negation again. And then I can... if I fetch, I'm dead, right? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I have the Plow, so I'm not necessarily, like, dead. And there is a Dryad Arbor in the deck, so that's 9. Though I'm probably not winning a game where I don't do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could cast Teferi and bounce Night of Autumn. That could buy me a little bit of time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'd be at 8. Yeah, I think that's actually reasonable to do. Because Teferi is just here to buy time anyway. What do I want? I want Tropical Island, probably. Yeah, I don't want to get taken off green by a Wasteland. Get you out of here. If they want to redeploy that and destroy a Chrome Mox, I don't super care. But at this point, they probably are going to spend this turn messing with my Planeswalkers, and that gives me another round of digging for removal. Can't cast the Forces because of Teague. They also can't currently kill both of my Planeswalkers. Again, they have to decide if they want to take out Narset or Teferi. The Narset being on 1 is pretty bad for me, though. Because that's just like in play, and unless I draw Days Undoing, it doesn't matter. and there's only one Days Undoing left in the deck. They also didn't fetch the Dryad Arbor in the end step, which I thought for sure they would do. If they had fetched Dryad Arbor, they could have killed both Planeswalkers. Alright, so they're taking out Narset and ignoring Teferi. I like that. That gives me a lot of action, like being able to cast sorceries on their turn, and just randomly eating Narset from my graveyard. There's another one, like, what's going on there? I think this is better as a 4-3 than, like, a random Stone Rain when I have this much mana. Right, so there's Uro. As well plus Teferi. It's not doing anything else. I think I want to start with a Ponder. I found Days Undoing, so I guess they did a good job taking out Narset. So green, blue, blue. Okay, so yeah, so the Ooze eating the Narsets took me off Uro. Except that, yeah, it still took me off Uro. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, if they fetch, I can plow. Oh no, I don't have double blue. These lands just don't make double blue. Shit. Alright. Bad news for me. Or double green. I have lots of blue. Out of green sources. But if they fetch with 4, 5, 6, I can run out the library. And I do still have this land drop. I'm gonna pass. And if they fetch end step, I'm gonna zap the Ooze. And zapping Ooze, I'm not excited about because now the Teague gets to run rampant. But having Uro in play is going to be pretty important. Overpower this opponent the old-fashioned way. Collector, oof, my goodness. Umezawa's Jitte. Alright, so that actually can equip this turn, except that they just played oof. So if they had first main, cast and equip Jitte, and then second main oof, they would have some counters on it. But then they still couldn't remove them. Yeah, in the chat they said that's silly. I concur. Alright, so they're Hellbent, and I'm about to have Uro in play. So we've done all this work and made it this far. Now we gotta see if we can beat a Gaddock Teague. They have mercifully drawn 0 Wastelands this whole game. They're killing Teferi, and then dealing 5 to me, and then I'll have the biggest creature on the planet. Oh, my third Narset is under Chrome Mox, so I am actually out of Narsets. They're all in exile right now. To library too. I forgot I had this. Life is good. Put on top. I'm gonna put both of these on top. I don't really have the room to be spending life on stuff. So if I bring back Uro right now, I'll get to throw the forest into play and cast Abundant Harvest. So I think that's pretty good. Alright, so Uro, trigger, forest is in. I'm pretty sure I want to fetch. So 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I want to fetch, get rid of that library. Alright, so Abundant Harvest, non-land. Well, there's Terminus. If I can ever remove Gaddock Teague, we've got a plan. If they draw Caracas, I lose. If they have Swords to Plowshares, I gain 6 life. And I can't force because of Teague. I would feel immortal right now if I could cast these forces, but I can't. I just need Sylvan Library to come up with a Swords to Plowshares, and I think that we're way ahead. They don't really have attacks here. Oh my god. 4, 5, 6, 7. That's actually a really good attack, because it's a forced block on Knight, so that means that Teague gets to live. Yeah, okay. So that was actually a really good attack. They did the math. Thalia. That's going to be troublesome. Yeah, Thalia messes up all sorts of stuff there. I'll put on top. So I can attack, put this Misty Rainforest into play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think every actual land in my deck is already in play. So I need to find a Swords to Plowshares, basically. Or I could put the Misty on top Okay, so put on top, put on top. And then I can attack and draw the Abundant Harvest. Then I have 2 ways to dig for a plow. 1, 2. I think that the Thalia is just too big of a deal here. I don't think I'm going to be able to get through this. I have to harvest for a non-land. Alright, Uro does gain some life. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, Uro does take me out of range. So, a welcome gift there. Shuffle this. Alright, we found Plow. Does it actually do anything? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, Uro leaves me at 1. And then I can Plow plus Terminus. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. We're getting there. Ooh, Mentor is also very good against Maverick. Alright, so I need them to not find 1 damage this turn. Without their equipment, finding 1 damage is pretty hard. Noble Hierarch, they want to attack with 4 creatures here, not 1, so Exalted's not going to help them. I honestly can't think of a card that would deal 1 damage that Maverick actually plays. Zealous Persecution, but we haven't seen black mana. Yeah, I mean, this feels pretty good. They've seen the Terminus, but they have not seen the Swords to Plowshares. I found this off Ponder. This I found off of Narset or Abundant Harvest something, so they do know that's there. Alright, 1 life remains. So I'm going to get to attack with Uro, go to 4, and then Plow plus Terminus, and just reset the board. And then I have Mentor to follow up, and I'm still chugging with Library. Unless they can burn me out somehow. I think they just tried to cast Green Sun Zenith, but they have Teague in play. So I need to watch out for Questing Beast, but they're only going to have 3 mana to work with. Alright, so I think I'm safe from Questing Beast. Alright, put on top, put on top. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, I have exactly enough mana. Oh, wait, no. That costs 7. Terminus costs 7. We blew it, team. Yeah, I've definitely made some sort of mistake here. Just got to figure out what it is. Alright, I think I can recoup it, though. I'll just play Mentor and gum up the board. Yeah, I miscounted. Yes, I did, in fact, miscount. I needed to... Yeah, I forgot that Terminus also costs 7, so you actually need 9 mana for this, not 8. Whoops. Alright, good thing Mentor's here to save the day, as usual. Alright, so now that I know they have Green Sun Zenith in hand, because of that tapping situation, what do I want to do about that? I could Plow Thalia, which unlocks my cantrips in a meaningful way. I don't want to Plow Oof, because the Jete actually does control Mentor in a reasonable kind of way. Let's clear Thalia and start monking out. And then harvest for a spell. I know my top card is Misty Rainforest, so Abundant Harvest clearing cards you don't want is pretty insane. Non-land. Found another harvest. We're going off now. Non-land. This card is really good. I am sold. Okay, so they have a Green Sun Zenith in their hand that they can't cast. I have a lot of blockers. I can make another Monk and trigger Prowess at instant speed. Ooh, Hex Drinker. That's a good one. They can get it straight up to level 3, where it is protected from instants, but I have enough creatures that I think that I can just pound through at this point. All for Abundant Harvest in the graveyard. Mad velocity. Alright, yeah, so they're trying to get that up to protection from everything mode, but I think they're just going to die because they did that. Like, they have 3 blockers now, and they're at 8. I just need to string together a couple spells, and I already have Brainstorm, and then Sylvan Library is also digging. Put on top, put on top. So I can plow the Oof, which turns on all my Chrome Moxen, or I can plow Teague, which gives me my Force of Wills. Yeah, I think that's better. Monastery Mentor. Best creature in the history of Magic the Gathering. Gotta watch my clock, though. I'm under 10 minutes for Game 3. This attack is starting to look pretty lethal. That's a shuffle. Alright, cool. And then Teferi can bounce Hexdrinker because Teferi's not an instant. Alright, easy. No sweat. We were never at 1 and locked under a Gaddock Teague for that whole game. That didn't happen. I don't remember that. Alright, so Containment Priest is really good against Green Sun Zenith, which is the central card of their deck. Force of Negation is bad against their deck because it's mostly creatures. Engineered Explosives is great against everything that isn't Gaddock Teague. So it's worth bringing in. Don't care about Meddling Mage, don't care about the graveyard. Hull Breacher can challenge them in combat in a way that the main deck mostly doesn't, but I don't think it's worth bringing in like more creatures into like my Terminus deck. Like Terminus is going to be part of the plan no matter what. So I got to cut 2 cards here. They have Collector Oof, which makes me wonder if Chrome Mox is worth it. Like, that was pretty cool jumping ahead on mana like that, but getting oofed for like a triple Stone Rain, and each of those Chrome Moxen they turned off was 2 cards, so it was like a 6 for 1. I'm not super interested in that happening. I could bring in Force of Vigor in case they choke me. So, how am I going to beat Choke if I don't have Force of Vigor? Chrome Mox operates around Choke. I have 1 Forest, 1 Plains. So I do have some mana sources outside of a Choke. I can actually make 3 colors with Engineered Explosives or cast a Fairy around a Choke. So, do I want the 1 Force of Vigor in? I guess they're also the Stoneforge equipment deck, so that might be worth doing. I think I like Force of Vigor better than Force of Will in general in this matchup. It's like, I mean, Teague's going to shut down both, but yeah, I like that. Let's do it. I am going to keep this hand. This is like a Chrome Mox hand, obviously. And I also have to play this game pretty quickly. Pitch Force of Will, Ponder. Wow, okay. I can Abundant Harvest right now, but I don't think I want to. Draw this, play this, and pass. I can Uro next turn, the old turn 2 Uro. I was wondering what they were going to do in the end step. This deck doesn't really have instants in it. So Thalia, Uro does not respect Thalia. Uro will draw the Narset, but at least Uro is in action. So I can harvest for a land if I want to. Mostly just hope that they can't kill Chrome Mox. I do feel pretty exposed to a Knight of Autumn here. I also don't have white mana for this plow. Knight of the Reliquary with the Sweet Border. Good choice. So Harvest for a land, I think, is the play. And then, unfortunately, or actually it's fine. I was about to say, unfortunately, I have to fetch into Wasteland, but I can just plow the Knight and don't have to worry about that. And they could still just have Wasteland, but at least the Knight's out of the way. Yep, there's the Wasteland. See if they want to use it or if they're gonna like Zenith for 2 or something. Zenith for Oof is the same as Wasteland here. Oh, great. Backup Knight, backup Wasteland. Strong. This is the sort of game that we can lose. So, Brainstorm. Not going to need Days Undoing here. I'm going to fetch my basic island so I can ponder. Alright, found a plow. I stacked that wrong because I'm clicking quickly. I definitely don't want to draw Days Undoing. And I can put Uro into play next turn. Though they can just get Caracas and bounce it. So I probably want to... And there's no Savannah in the deck, so I have to decide if I'm going to Uro or plow because I can't do both. Tricky stuff. But I can set up this, like, Narset Days Undoing over a couple turns. That's giving myself a lot of credit to actually get there. Right, what's all this? Looks like a Zenith for 2. Probably getting Scavenging Ooze. Oh, Collector Roof. Okay. That one I'm not super worried about. I think I have to go for the plow. Can at least do it off of basic, so let's get rid of this. Yeah, if I draw a fetch land, I can Uro, and now they can't tutor up the Caracas. That also takes a 7/7 out of play. My opponent asked how Abundant Harvest has been in the chat. I'll respond if I get some opportunity to do that. Terminus? Alright, nice. Uro's in. Drop. Uro. My deck doesn't play Snapcaster Mage or anything, so I don't really need to worry about the graveyard that much. There's the Uro boy. They haven't made a land drop in a couple turns. Yeah, Source of Plowshares I don't care about. Like, this was a 2-for-1 that gained me 6 life. Count it. Also, I'm going to teach you all a cool trick right now. If you announce Engineered Explosives for 1, then, but pay 2 colors through Thalia, you get an Engineered Explosives for 2. Look, X equals 1 on the stack, but it's cast with 2 colors, and it's an Engineered Explosives for 2 once it gets into play. Not that that matters because of Oof, but at some point I'll be able to remove Oof, and then I get to sweep all their 2s. Uh-oh, Scrib Ranger. If they don't have Teague, like Terminus at any point just shuts the door. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 5, 6. Yeah, this Thalia has been insane though. If there's a Knight, I'm gonna Narset it for a spell, like if I don't just rip Terminus and GG here. But Terminus is GG off the top, I'm pretty sure. Okay, so who does Days Undoing favor? And I think it's close enough to being neutral that I don't want to do it. Abundant Harvest for a spell. Right, there's Teferi. So they're gonna spend a turn attacking Narset. Knight is in their hand. Teferi bouncing Knight is like a pretty easy play. Ooh, what costs 4? Is this Questing Beast? Oh god, 5/6. Yeah, they could Zenith. With Thalia, this is not a Zenith for 4 though. This is a Zenith for 3. Yeah, they're getting Questing Beast. I'm out of here. I'm so dead. Terminus could still do it though. Oh, Zenith for 1? Weird. Alright, they saw Teferi, and Teferi can bounce Hex Drinker, even if it has protection from instants, so I don't know if I agree with that. I think if they have a Questing Beast, they're supposed to get it there. Terminus. Right, Uro. Not quite what I'm looking for. I will send this Hex Drinker to the Shadow Realm. Maybe I'm supposed to actually bounce Oof there. I don't know. It's kind of close. Now I can flash in Containment Priest and block something. Like I could trade off with the Oof. And there's nothing they can do about it because I have Teferi. So hopefully the Oof will attack Teferi. Oh no, Curb Ranger is definitely going to attack Teferi. Oof doesn't make any sense at all. Alright, we're going to trade off with Oof, and then that turns on the Engineered Explosives, which will clear the Scrib Ranger and the Thalia. And then it's Uro's game to take over, I guess. They are sitting on this Knight. I'm approaching 5 minutes on my clock. I do have to win this game. I'm not going to get another chance. And Terminus sweeps a Hex Drinker, even if it's at like the max. Alright, so start here. Bang, bang. Clear out your shit. Oh, I also have explosives on 1. Wow. Yeah, let's just clear out all their junk. And then I can Uro. Okay, so Knight of the Reliquary versus Uro, dual decks. No. Okay. Knight of the Reliquary is good versus Uro, though, because it can tutor up the Caracas. But they are... Opponent said that was very nice, got me good. Yeah, the clearing the oof so you can clear everything else. Oh no, ooze. Well, at least ooze isn't... I mean, it eats the Uro, but like, it's not this gigantic clock the way Knight of the Reliquary is. So I am gonna just hang out on these Days Undoings, probably. I don't want to refresh my opponent's hand. Though maybe I should. Like, they're gated on this 3 mana when I have so much. Yeah, maybe I should have Days Undoing and just leveraged my raw card advantage, because they're going to have a hard time getting cards out of their hand with only 3 mana. That also would have removed all the Ooze's food. But it is weird that they are committing to... Oh my god. It's weird that they're committing to Ooze Beatdown instead of putting Knight into play. On top, on top. It doesn't matter all these cards in hand because I'm just going to spin them away. And spin them away. Ooze can eat a creature on the way out. Decided not to do that. Sure. Let's plow this right now. I think that I'm miles ahead right now, but that's not going to matter if I run out of time. On top, on top. Are they just trying to time me out? Like, I'm not sure what the plan is if they have 7 cards in hand and just don't do anything with it. So look for a non-land. I'm looking for Mentor, basically. I put back Terminus and Force of Will. The Fairy. I don't think there's 1 Tundra left? Yeah, alright, cool. A Brainstorm. I could still find Uro and jam it this turn. Okay, Terminus is set up. Like if they basically put any creature into play here, I can Brainstorm Terminus. Uh, 3 minutes is plenty of time to win with Monastery Mentor. I'm not going to Abundant Harvest even though I can, because that's a Mentor trigger. I'm actually going to decline the library just for speed's sake. Ponder. Okay, pass the turn. I'll just make a million monks in their end step. Scrib Ranger, sure. We can kill that. Shit. Just busy clicking and just let them wasteland me for no reason. Alright. Always yield. Always yield. Any order, shuffle, harvest. Looking for a non-land. So you can see how this game is basically unlosable at this point. Just gotta actually click through it. So even if I run out of time, count this as a W. And 2.5 minutes really is plenty of time to do this. I'm going to save the Brainstorm. Always yield. I'm still not going to do that. It's for fear. I'm afraid. All right, let's see if I can put 36 damage on the board. 37 damage on the board right now. The only creature that could ever do that is Mentor. We would not win this game if this was a purely Uro deck. There's just not enough time to win with Uro right now. All right, wow, okay. Put these back. Ponder. There's a lot of spells. Mentor is flexing right now. Any order, shuffle, harvest a non-land. Are we lethal yet? Not quite. Non-land. Swords to Plowshares, this little guy. Are we there? It's close. I think I'm 1 short. 1 spell short. But they are in trouble. Alright. Oh, Dryad Arbor can block, sure. I don't have any lands left to fetch, so that's just going to get to block. I don't know how they could ever win this game, though. Unless they do suddenly have black cards and Zealous Persecution. Okay, 1 minute and 20 seconds to click through this. All right, they packed it up. GG's. All right, they believed that I could finish it out. Pretty clean win over Maverick there. All right, well, we're here with one of those turn 1 Sylvan Library hands. Let's do it. This is going to be like kind of a guess on what I actually want to exile, but I'm pretty sure it's Terminus. Drop, Chrome Mox, exile Terminus, Sylvan Library. All right, so they looked like they were F6'd, which makes me think they might be a combo deck, or just extremely honest. Are they lands? Let's find out. Okay, yep, it is lands. So they can get the waste, but Chrome Mox does play around Wasteland pretty well. Or, like, push it pretty well. I don't need all of these. Like, it may seem kind of free to just, like, take damage, but I don't need that, and, like, even if lands isn't going to be, like, pressuring my life total super meaningfully, it's still 4 life to find a better card that I don't have. So I can just like shuffle that away, get a basic island right now. Try to find a Narset or something now. Okay, so Force of Will, like these are all cards that have some utility. All right, this is going to be a pay 4 or pay 8 turn because I want to use this Brainstorm for maximum power. Okay, so I don't need another Chrome Mox. I am extremely interested in a green source though. So, Tropical Island. Abundant Growth for a non-land. Or Abundant Harvest. Found another Force of Will. Alright, so I'm pretty safe from a crop rotation here. Force of Negation would have been a better find because they're a loam deck. But I will Force of Will a loam if they have one this turn. Jeez. The second Wasteland. They've only seen 9 cards with 2 Wastelands. RNGesus hates me. And both of my tropical islands are in the graveyard now, so I have to pitch a green card to whatever this is called, Chrome Mox, if I ever want to cast Uro this game. However, I can do the twist next turn. Do I want Teferi? I probably want Brainstorm. Oh, I guess Days Undoing puts the Trops back in my deck. That's just good deck building. So I do have a path to put Teferi or Uro into play. It's true. So there's this cool trick with Days Undoing, where if I have Teferi and I can cast my sorceries like they're instants, you can cast Days Undoing in response to your opponent doing something on their end step. So like if they like make Dark Depths, if they make the Merit Lage trigger, you can just like end the turn in response and they never get Merit Lage. So I want my basic forest. So this also functions as graveyard hate, so I'm into that. Alright, let's do the twist. They have 2 cards in hand. This will turn it into 1. But I get a fresh 7, and my current 7 is not very good. Like, if they try to crop rotate in response, I just happily Force of Will it. Okay, Uro's here with both of the tropical islands. As as predicted. I did lose the Swords to Plowshares, though, so if they can make Merit Lage this turn, I'm in some trouble. That doesn't look like it's the plan, though. I do have the force for crop rotation. I got nothing to do with that mana. Okay, so put on top and put on top. And then I can arrow to make my land drop. And then I can Narset, find Force of Negation for a possible Loam. And now we're just set up for life. I guess I should ponder now. I do have the Chrome Mox making white mana, which takes a lot of pressure off worrying about Merit Lage. Do I want a second Narset? No, I don't think so. I'll shuffle. Now I have the interesting choice to make of, if they crop rotation, do I even counter it? Oh, they're just slowly removing the counters from depths. That's fair. You got it. And I have triple blue and triple green, so Rishadenport can't take me off of Uro. The Narset Days Undoing combo is just really strong. It turns out that drawing 7 cards while mind twisting your opponent is good. Did you know that, watcher? Right, Force of Will on that one. I want to save the negation for a Loam. It's going to be a little bit challenging to get the 5 cards for Uro this turn. Put on top, put on top. So this second Uro does make a land drop, and I'm holding up Hardcast Force of Negation. Yeah, I just need Sylvan Library to come up with any card that can go into my graveyard this turn. That's gonna be a no from me, dog. Oh wait, I have Narset in play. I don't care about that. Shit. I'm garbage. Now I'm gonna lose to Loam. That was bad. That was a knee jerk. Like, Narset has that card beat. Didn't care at all. But that is the 5th card for Uro, so I'll take that. Crop rotation. Alright, that resolves. Oh, they have Bajuka Bog. And is that all my Uros gone? Because I pitched 1 to Force. No, this is a 4 Uro deck. Alright, so now they're deciding, is it time to make Merit Lage? Can they win a game where they don't make a 20/20 right now? Or are they going to bog me? I think the play to win plan is Merit Lage. But yeah, sure. So they've decided to go all the way Hellbent with no real path to victory against an opponent with Sylvan Library active. But I guess the Uros were pretty serious. Yeah, definitely just should have let that Sylvan Library resolve, because I don't care about it. Alright, so I would like to get deeper into my deck, but I don't want to go to 1. So put on top and pay 4 to keep this one. I guess I could bounce Exploration. Not that it super matters. I'm not going to cast Sylvan Library, because the second one... Does it do anything? No, because I just see the same cards again, unless I'm willing to pay, like, 12 life. And this can trigger Mentor. Refresh cards off Sylvan Library. Just need to find a Mentor at this point. There you are. Okay, do I go to 1? I don't think I want to go to 1. Maybe this is a 2-turn line, so put on top, put on top. Alright, so yeah, I'm just gonna pass and play it slow. I don't want to just like die to a Punishing Fire. I didn't have to. If I go to 1, I can take my time here. Put on top, put on top. There's Mentor. I have Force of Will and Negation backup. Will or Negation. I can't do both. And then next turn I can ponder my way around. Take some counters off depths, go for it. I don't care about their shot and port. I still have the 5. Float white. They can go into combat, but that's whatever. That takes me off Force of Will. But I still have the Force of Negation. Like so. Force of Negation. So good to have a main deck exile spell against these Loam and Punishing Fire decks. Really wish I just had like a Ponder there, because that also counters the fire. Nice. Put on top. Put on top. Plus Teferi. RO, get in there. Gain some life, draw that Ponder. Ponder. Now we're just turning the corner. I like having the Brainstorm available to me, even though it's not like super great here. Like there's no lands left to fetch in the deck. But this should be enough spells to get the game over. And Teferi can bounce the Sylvan Library next turn to just get another spell. And they can't port me off white because I have Chrome Mox. They can't crop rotation because I have Teferi. And Brainstorm in response to that. Let's get some Monk triggers. They're at 10. I'm attacking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 right now. Just need to cast one more spell, which I have lined up with the Teferi bouncing one of my other permanents. Yeah, they're dead. Might as well float blue here because I could draw a spell off Brainstorm. Alright, that didn't happen. No worries. I'm just going to decline these in the interest of time because I have lethal. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I'm in for 13 here. which is more than their life total. Bang. Alright, easy game. Monastery Mentor, too strong. That was a game where I got wastelanded twice. The Chrome Mox was insane, just getting started on Sylvan Library, turn 1 Sylvan Library on the play. Nothing to sneeze at, as they say. Force of Vigor could be good here. They might have Thorn of Amethyst, or Sphere of Resistance, or Chalice of the Void, or Exploration, or Valakut Exploration, or Choke. So I do like the Forces of Vigor. I want some number of Surgical, probably not all 3. Maybe like 2. Force of Will, I don't love, and I also think Terminus sucks. So what's left here? I think Uro's very good. The Planeswalkers are basically the whole plan. I do like leaving in the Plows because I don't want to get cheesed out by a Merit Lage, and also sometimes they pivot into like Tireless Tracker or creatures after game 2. Yeah, I do like the Chrome Mox jumping up ahead against the Wasteland deck, so I'm not going to cut any of those. I think it's Force of Will or one of the Uros are the cuts here, and I think it's probably Force of Will. Because they don't play a whole lot of spells, and the ones that they do play, I don't really want to 2-for-1 myself over. Meddling Mage on Punishing Fire is one way to attack what they're doing, or Meddling Mage on Loam, but Surgical and Force of Negation do a similar thing. Yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'm pretty sure the Hull Breachers are just for matchups that want to draw cards, like actual cantrip matchups. But the idea of having more things that combo with Days Undoing and in a more brutal way is kind of exciting. This is a keep. I can ponder looking for a land to cast Harvest, and then I just have 3 lands for the Uro, and then I have Force if they have like Chalice of the Void or whatever. Surgical. This hand is well suited to get itself up to 3 mana and still be alive, which is basically all I want to do in this matchup, or any matchup. I'm not going to fight over that. Alright, Field of the Dead, worth being aware of. I don't think I have a good plan for that one other than overpower it with Mentor. Alright, so drawing that land is easy money. There's a possibility that this Abundant Harvest is going to be able to pick a non-land. So I do need green mana, so I'm going to shuffle this. This is a non-green source and 2 more green cards. Ooh. Alright, I have a green source. I can turn to Uro now. I can pitch Harvest to that if I want to. Uro immediately recoups the lost card advantage. Right. Rishadan Port's pretty strong. This is a second Field of the Dead. Alright. Field of the Dead has the same name as Field of the Dead, so that doesn't count towards zombies, but if they do ever get to the 7th different land, they get to make double the zombies. Alright, so I could pitch Uro to Abundant Harvest, but I don't think that makes any sense. I think just taking my time, work ahead of this Rishadan Port is a good idea. Ghost Quarter's very strong, if they can recur it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They could start making zombies as soon as next turn. I am pretty scared of that. Alright, because they have Ghost Quarter, I'm pretty sure I just want to Uro now. I could also pitch this Force of Will. I could get a green source and just pitch a Force of Will to Chrome Mox. But then I don't have Force of Will, but I don't think this is going to be... Like, the way this game is played out, Force of Will is not going to be part of my plan. So I'd rather hold on to the Abundant Harvest. And I can fetch a non-basic because if they waste me, that takes them off a land for Field of the Dead. And with the Ghost Quarter, I don't want to turn that into Strip Mine any sooner than I need to. One, two, three, four, five. If their hand is just 2 lands with different names, then we're in a lot of trouble. Do I have any plan here for the Engineered Explosives, which I didn't bring in? So if there's a game 3, I'm going to do that. Oh, nice. That's another land with the same name. They're just... If they got Basic Forest there, they would have been really close to doing what they want to do. Uh-oh. Oh, well. This was a bad turn to not have Force of Will. Ghost Quarter, target. Alright, so this will get the Basic Forest and trigger a land drop, which will find Thespian Stage, which is also a land drop. Finds Exploration. Yeah, that was a strong exploration, it's safe to say. And extracting Field of the Dead doesn't matter because there's already one in play, and they can stage to make another one. But that's not even good. So they should take me off green here. If they want to port me at all. If they port me, then they don't get to activate stage. So there is, like, if they're trying to copy Field of the Dead, then porting me isn't good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, makes sense. That's what I would do. Alright, so I can pitch the Uro to this Chrome Mox and cast Abundant Harvest. I think that's better. This gives me a Mox that can tap for blue or green. And the secret about Uro is that you generally don't need more than one. Non-land. There it is. There's the third Uro. Yeah, I'm really interested in Force of Negation, or Force of Vigor right now. The Valakut Exploration is the scariest thing they have going on. Yeah, if they have Life from the Loam here, oh wow, they just don't have anything. 2 cards in hand, no land drop with Valakut Exploration, so their hand is 2 spells. So what spells are they going to have? Punishing Fire, Crop Rotation. Those are the spells they play. That was a great find. So I get to put Uro into play here. I'm going to keep playing around that Ghost Quarter. Oh, green, green, blue, blue. Alright, Uro's in. I guess they could have Red Elemental Blast. That's a card that they might be sitting on. Okay, fair enough. You got me. Yeah, leaving the shields down that one turn where they stuck Valakut Exploration turned out to be a huge beating. But they had the Reb, so maybe it would have resolved anyway. But still, this is the only permanent in play right now that I care about. Alright, porting me off green again. Blue, green, white. Yes, there's Mentor. Now we're in business. So I cast Mentor. They Punishing Fire it. I Surgical Extract something in response, and then Mentor survives. Really wish I had a blue card. Like, backing this up with Force of Will would be a whole lot better than not doing that. And if I cast Surgical this turn, I'm going to target Ghost Quarter with it. They're thinking really hard if they want to Punishing Fire this thing, because they know I wouldn't just run it out there with no protection. Yeah, the fact they haven't played a land in 3 turns is pretty suspicious. But the second that they do, they're going to go completely insane with Valakut Exploration. Force of Vigor. Sure, that fills up my Uro. That was really powerful. The old 4 for 1. Not too shabby. So now I guess the question is, do I fire off... If I don't draw like a 1-mana spell here, or a fetch land, do I fire off Surgical just to get our own to play? My opponent said, imagine if I could draw a blanking land. And that's what I've been saying. Yeah, I know, right? Okay, I think Sylvan Library is the investment here. So let's get in there with Mentor. Yeah, I think investing in Sylvan Library and saving Surgical for something that, other than just like a prowess trigger and putting an Uro into play. Another exploration. All right. Wow. No lands in your land stack. Spell flooded. Port, sure. All right, library. It's time for you to go completely insane. I'm at 23 life. Pay for. This must be a joke, as my opponent says. Yeah, who's laughing? All right, well, I hope you think this joke is funny. We can take turns. Force of Vigoring. All right, my opponent's saying, like, imagine if I draw a land, haha, is like fun banter, but now they're like, this must be a joke. I have 33 lands, lol at my spell. Like, okay, now you're just tilting. I'm going to stop engaging with that. All right, now I have Force of Will and Surgical backup for everything that's going on here. I'm going to hold on to the Chrome Mox. I think it might still have potential of being a mana source. Like, I don't want to just, like, spew it for a prowess trigger. Plus, it could generate lethal next turn. So, we'll see. Yeah, they're going to draw a fetch land this turn. Guaranteed. Something that would have just totally set off all of their stuff. All right, I think that copying Port is a mistake. I think they should have copied my Snow-Covered Forest, because porting me at this point doesn't matter, but Snow Forest is something they can use, like actually cast spells with, and it's a different name for Field of the Dead. All right, just Mox Diamond into the bin, Mox Diamond into the bin, and all right, cool. That's the ball game, kids. Even if they can crop rotate for Glacial Chasm, I have the Force of Will. They can keep Uro from coming into play, but they're dead anyway. Yes. Put on top. Pay for life. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just need to cast 2 spells. Alright. Opponent's still continuing to tilt. Don't worry, this game is over. Put you out of your misery. Top, top, top. Shuffle. Boop, boop, bop. Just keeping up. Force blue card the whole time. Alright, Veil of Summer. I guess I should force that. Because it's the last card in their hand. If they do cantrip into crop rotation, I could end up losing the game. But alright. 2-0, 2-0. Let's keep this train rolling. I'm on the play with another turn 1 library. I'm going to keep. Let's see if this is any good. So I think I get Basic Island with this. Basic Island. I feed an Abundant Harvest to the Chrome Mox and cast Library. I can Abundant if they force this, that recoups the card that I lost for Chrome Mox because it's a 2-for-1 on the force. Force pitching Uro. Alright, so this is some sort of mirror. Gotta manage my clock early and often. Let's see if this Chrome Mox was worth it. I had not considered that equation. The if they interact with your library on turn 1, they force a will, which ends up pitching the same card that you pitched for Chrome Mox, and you end up a land and at card parity. Like, that's really interesting. Ripping a white source off the top to just shove to Fairy would be great. I could have fetched Tundra with my land. Oh, easy money. Or I can just, like, cheat and put Teferi into play. I don't think they're going to daze this, but alright. Force pitching another Uro. Alright, cool. I've him to Turok them twice. And, okay, they are a Wasteland deck, so this could be Bug. Bant usually doesn't have Wasteland in it. I'm gonna look for a non-land. Oh, I'm still in my draw step. That stop is gonna get me every time. Non-land. Uro. The Urbro. And, like, I have 4 mana sources to their 2. I don't think they even can Wasteland me here. Like, that would just be so bad for them. But they might have to pretty soon to keep me off of Uro. I guess this could be, like, Rug Delver with 2 Uros in it, in which case the Wasteland might be presentable. Wow. This is a weird game so far. Tarmogoyf. Okay, so maybe this is Rug Delver. And if it is, then maybe they do have days. But 2 Uros in the main deck of a Rug Delver deck. I suspect this is more some sort of bug mid-range with Light from the Loam in it. Let's get that out of here. So now we're just in scrappy mode, which I'm not sure who that favors. Favors the person with a ponder. So I'm looking for land drops mostly. Okay, cool. So I can Abundant Harvest for a land. I'm not going to run the Trop into Wasteland. Though they clearly haven't made a land drop recently. So if they are a Loam deck, I just don't want to give them free food like that. Like, if I can find another basic island and then go Trop Uro all at once, that's pretty strong. Or just, like, use the Trop to cast Narset immediately if I draw her. Yeah, this is pretty exciting. This Chrome Mox has been insane. Just the unwastable green source. that demanded multiple Force of Wills. Like turn 1 Sylvan Library, turn 2 Teferi, Force, double him to Tarok. Okay, Rug. Rug is confirmed. So if this is actual Rug Delver, then we've done a pretty good job converting into the mid game here. I'm not sure how much I'm going to want to play around Stifle. Like, maybe the answer is not at all. But I can... Here's, like, what I was playing towards, where I can fetch the basic island and then immediately jam Uro. If they do have Stifle, then I can just play Library. Alright, yeah, I wasn't going to force that Stifle anyway, so that's fine. I did not play around Spell Pierce. That's not a card that I normally would. Oh, they're doing something. Alright, it said waiting to pay costs, and then they decided not to pay costs. So, I'm just gonna continue to sit on this card advantage and not play my Trop. This is worth fighting over. I'm not going to cast that Daze Undoing anytime soon. Alright. And winning that fight where I have Library and they don't, when we're both pretty close to Hellbent. And they've pitched both of their Uros to Forces, and I just have both mine, or one in the graveyard. So... I'm just going to go in here. So I could play the Narset and lose her to Lightning Bolt, but that's still a 2-for-1. That commits the green source to play, which I've been trying to avoid for a long time now. These Wastelands currently rotting. I'm going to go for the Brainstorm. Unremarkable here. So the Uro is a good pitch to Force of Negation. I think what I want to do is stack Narset and Mentor on top, and then just pass it back. I can make Narset related, or Narset versus Mentor related decisions depending on what they do this turn. I have Force for a non-creature and Plow for a creature. We're pretty good there. Alright, and yes, Rug Delver is all the way confirmed, in case there was any doubt left in our minds. Right, so put on top and pay for. I'm going to use Narset here to clear the top of the deck at least. She's in there. If she gets bolted, I don't care. I'll take the 2-for-1. Also being at 9 life, working the library. A bolt going anywhere other than my face is a fine deal. Alright, Chrome Mox, perfect. That actually is pretty good. Like, I can go Mentor, Chrome Mox, pitching Uro, and then I have another difficult to interact with mana source. Library. Yeah, they're at 24. I don't want to have to play through that. They're a pretty heavy rug mid-range deck. Like they obviously contain Delver, but 2 Sylvan Library, 2 Uro in the main deck. That's some heavy stuff. Speaking of heavy stuff, this is not very good. Put on top for the forest. Do I want to go to 5? So I don't really want to. I mean, I think 5 life is fine. Like Uro is still waiting in the wings there. So I could play Mentor, let them daze it if that's what the last card in their hand is. Yeah, I think I would rather play towards maximum punishment here than towards playing around days. And I'm gonna exile Harvest, so now any blue source off the top gets the Uro into play. And I play a lot more blue sources than I play green. And they don't have double red, so even if their hand is double bolt, I'm safe for a turn. Alright, that was pretty good. Now let's get Uro into play. Alright, Sylvan Library, give me a blue source. We know the force is there, and then... Jeez. Top. Top. In for 1. That'll show him. So I can Terminus next turn if I want to. They're probably going to play the Bone Crusher Giant. So I can Terminus the Bone Crusher without taking the 2 from targeting it, and then I can have Uro set up for the future. I should probably resolve Library first. Alright, so... Top, because the Terminus is a card that I drew this turn, so I basically am priced into putting back all of the cards that aren't Terminus. Unless I want to go to 1, which I don't want to do against Rug Delver. This was a good time of the game to find a Brainstorm. Really just need a damn island. And this Uro will go completely insane. 2 Wastelands have been really strong this game, of course. I hope they don't have True Name Nemesis. It would be weird to have True Name and Uro in the same deck. I guess Clothis would be even worse. Oh no. Okay. The third Uro. I can plow that Uro when it comes back up if they find another blue source for it. I would really like to find my blue source right now, though. I'll work through these 2 dead cards. Jeez. Alright. Put on top. Put on top. I can at least play this Uro, get well out of bolt range. I draw the Force of Will. This digs me a card deeper. So I have Force and Plow available. Their Uro didn't put a land in last turn, so they would have to draw it this turn to find the second blue source, or the second blue, because they have green, they need blue. 2 fresh cards off the library, come on. My god. Right, top. I will take a Ponder right now, though. Gladly take a Ponder. Fresh looks, fresh shuffles. Snow Forest. That doesn't help me. This is a shuffle. Alright, Narset. The game continues on. Just gotta manage my clock. Games like this are dangerous because if I end up losing a game 1 and I'm way behind on clock, I'm never getting back. Stomp, yeah, that's fine. Maybe I'm supposed to force that, because this is going to end up doing 4 damage to me and being a 2-for-1 and eat the plow. Okay, they just stomped and didn't play the giant. Oh, they're holding up Force of Will. That's what's going on right now. Hardcast Force. God. Top. Top. Bonder. Someday. Island. Okay. That is the blue source we're looking for. They could have Stifle. Alright, they're bolting me now. Okay. Alright, so we're in the squeeze here of they have Bolt and, like, I could die to a Bolt. This Bone Crusher Giant's going to be pretty good. But Uro can overpower Bone Crusher. And the Force of Will is a really nice insurance policy. I'm going to let them have Uro and then plow it. Oh wait, they're... Okay, yeah, they're just tapping wrong. Or are they casting a red spell? No, they are casting Uro. Okay. Yeah, go for it. Alright, so they can have Uro. I'll plow it in response to its trigger before they draw the card. I think they do have Force of Will in hand because they left out the 5 mana last turn. And if they pitch for it, I'll pitch back. Okay. Nope. They're just taking their value. Alright, so Wasteland does not cast Stifle. Okay. Alright, cool. Don't even need to use it. Top. Uro. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just picking at random. I should actually remove my Planeswalkers because they have Tarmogoyf in their deck. Force was your last card. Force was also my last card. I'm at 2. I'll go up to 5. So I'm out of bolt range. Yeah, and then I get to also cast Narset because I'm drawing this land. Oh, I can't cast Narset. Then I'd be at 3 again. No, I need to wait a turn before I go for a Narset. Yeah, that would be among the worst plays I've ever made if I just, like, get myself out of bolt range and then fetch straight back down to it. Alright. Wow. Just punched back and forth, danced around this Uro forever, 2 Wastelands and a Stifle keeping me off balance, but Chrome Mox kept me in that game. That was pretty great. So, what do I want here? Engineered Explosives. Probably Surgical. Just like 1 to find it to clear their Uros for the late game. Like, Uros, because they're a Delver deck, Uro's not going to be their early plan. It's not their whole plan. It's just going to be really good later on. Force of Negation is not good here. I like Terminus quite a bit. Force of Will I'm not in love with. I want some number, though, just in case. Days Undoing seems kind of hopeful against the deck with Red Blast in it. Could bring in Hull Breacher. Do I want to keep the Chrome Mox in this full high number? I don't think so. Maybe I want Force of Vigor, because we've seen Sylvan Library, and they could have like Winter Orb, or I don't think decks play Sulfuric Vortex anymore, but they're definitely going to have Sylvan Libraries. Though Hull Breacher answers that also, so maybe I just want to stick to the Breacher plan. Yeah, so I have 2 Hull Breacher, 3 Narsa to answer Sylvan Library. Yeah, I actually think I like that. Let's go in with this deck. Alright, this is a pretty interesting hand on the draw. And I can get basic planes and cast several Swords to Plowshares, which are all pretty good in this matchup. Hand's pretty exposed to Stifle, but I am going to keep it. Oh wow, they gave me the play. Interesting. They must know something I don't. Yeah, that was pretty cool, actually. I like that. Well, if you're going to give me the play, I'm going to take that opportunity to Abundant Harvest for a land. Like, I honestly just don't even mind if they wasteland this. I'll play through it. I got to play around Stifle. Yeah, that's really interesting, giving me the play. I think play draw is one of the things in Magic that's generally less explored than it should be. Like in constructed Magic, there's a lot of experimentation with it in limited, but in constructed, it doesn't get the love that it should. All right, so I can Hull Breacher if they put basically anything onto this deck. Do I want a Hull Breacher anyway? I don't think so. Okay, cool. Now I can play around Daze while I breach. They're still going to get me with a Red Blast or a Bolt, but I'll take my chances. They saw Daze Undoing in game 1. I pitched it to a Force, so they do know that's a thing that I'm doing. So Daze isn't going to help them here. If I can get a Force out of this, that's fine. If Brainstorm resolves, like holy shit. But it's not going to, don't worry. Yeah, their deck's full of red cards. Yep, okay, so that at least messed up the Brainstorm. I got a 1-for-1 trade, baited out a Lightning Bolt, and they don't get to shuffle these Brainstorm cards now. So that's a reasonable exchange. If they do untap and jam Klothys, it might not matter, and I might just lose anyway. And I'm going to have to find an Uro to get ahead of Klothys if that's the plan. You know, I like the first Chrome Mox a lot here. The second one is pretty bad. And I only have 2 in the deck right now. Yeah, there's one over here, and I only play 3. The double plow is nice against the creature half of their deck, the like Delver Tarmogoyf stuff, but the Klothys Uro stuff, I could be in some trouble. Carpet, yikes. Alright. Big mana. Yeah, Carpet is a card that also might want Force of Vigor for. I guess it depends on like how big they go. Oh my god. Okay. I'm definitely getting just smushed here. The go quick for a Chrome Mox plan versus the Red Blast deck is not working out for me. So I think I want to Chrome Mox and pitch Terminus. Alright, so now I have white mana, and I have 5 mana. With 2 plows, I don't think setting up Terminus is going to make much sense. Yeah, this is a bad spot, but could definitely, like, nothing is happening quickly. Like, if we settle into this, like, nobody does anything for a while game, I am up 2 minutes on the clock already, and we can do that. I also won game 1, so those are all considerations. But this Narset is a problem. I'm going to need one of my own. But they have Red Blast. And Mentor is one of my ways out of this, to Fairy, but that also gets Red Blasted. So we like find Teferi and back it up with a Flusterstorm once I find one. Burrow. I think I just want to plow this on the front half. Do I want to plow this on the front half? Does that matter to me? No, I'm okay letting them commit graveyard resources, just like with the pace of this game so far. I also have a Surgical in my deck. So if I draw it, that's something I can do. Ooh, alright. Well, now I'm going to plow it. Alright, the old Pokepile trick. Alright, got that Stifle out of there. Swords of Plowshares, good stuff. Alright, I can hardcast Force of Will. That's a play. That play does jam into Stifle, but I don't think I can avoid that at this point. And I'm going to fetch basic Forest if I can, or if the fetch resolves. Because I don't want to fuel the carpet more than I need to, and also getting just a stable green source would be pretty nice. Also drawn both Force of Wills I left in the deck. Not really where I want to be. I wonder if they're prioritizing Stifle on these Ponders at all. Probably not, because it's not very good. Yeah, I'll let the front half resolve again. Maybe they'll try to stifle it again. Yeah, that Red Blast is scary. Red Blast is such a beating all the time. Alright, at this point they're so far ahead on mana that I don't think that playing out the second, or another island's really gonna be a game breaker here. And now I can cast Force even if they do stifle me. So I probably want to try to force the Uro, and then they Red Blast it, and then I can untap and plow it. But I'm definitely in trouble. And I'm going to tap the white because I'm not going to jam my plow into a Spell Pierce or Flusterstorm or Daze. So I might as well represent like maybe I have Flusterstorm. Alright. That's in there. I'm going to plow on my turn, probably. Flusterstorm is probably the draw that buys me the most time. Oh god, they also have Clothis. I'm in danger. So they could Force of Negation here. But if they untap, they can also Force of Negation, so I want to at least set up the 2-for-1 if I can get it. Force pitching Borrower. I don't get to draw a card here, but I at least get to look. That all showed up a little late. Okay, now I'm playing to just like a Miracle Terminus, I guess. Mostly I'm playing to letting their clock run out a little bit. If I can find out more about their deck, but these do seem like pretty standard mid-range, like top-end Rug Delver stuff. Just Narset out of the sideboard. Clothis may or may not be in the main, but it's definitely going to be here post-board. The Uros. I wonder if they boarded out the like Goyfs and Delvers entirely. Like that's information worth gleaning by playing this out. Like knowing if they still have those little threats in the deck. Because Terminus is not exciting if they don't have the other creatures. Like I would want to fight over Uro just with Plow. Okay, Delver confirmed. Alright, time to flip a Terminus. It's the only thing that can really be meaningful here, and they're ahead by so many cards that it's probably not even meaningful. Alright, so I'll Plow on their upkeep. I'll let them reveal for Delver first. Which of your 1,000 counterspells in your hand would you like to cast? Hardcast Force, yep. Squeaky clean. And I am dead because Clothis deals 2 and they attack for 9, that's 11, and I only have 10 life points. Alright, it's game 3. Now I know that Carpet is in their deck in addition to Narset. So does that change anything? Does that make me want Force of Will more? Do I just play the same strategy? Days Undoing when they have Narset seems like such a mess. The first Chrome Mox was good, the second one was bad. Meddling Mage is a blue creature that dies to a Stiff Breeze, so I don't have a great answer to Clothis at all, other than bouncing it with Teferi and then countering it on the way back down, and I only have the 2 counter spells. Oh, Engineered Explosives can kill Library and Carpet, so I'm not going to bring in Force of Vigor for those. Force of Negation doesn't counter Clothis. I didn't see a Loam, so I don't think I'm looking for any Force of Negation kind of stuff. I think maybe if I'm going to be 2-for-1ing myself in this matchup, I'd rather protect an important thing with Force than exile to Chrome Mox. Though the Chrome Mox has been good, like, don't get me wrong. I've been super impressed by that card, but I'm gonna try this configuration. Like, getting a quick Mentor down and protecting it with Force is a nice way to cheese a win, or at least put them on the back foot. This is a keeper. Yeah, so I'm gonna Ponder, get to play around Stifle here. I put them on the draw, which is where they wanted to be last game. Maybe I should have thought more about that, but I think it's fine. So now I have all my colors across basic lands. Engineered Explosives is 2 cards down. Like, if they do have just the turn 1 Delver, I have options. I hope they just Ponder. Oh, Carpet. Carpet's a problem. I don't think it's as much of a problem as... Like, I don't think it's worth a Force of Will. That's what I'm saying. Okay. I'm not sure if that was a good brainstorm or if that's just like, it's free, YOLO. Like, I'm not sure if I would cast a brainstorm just because I had 1 mana around. So I think I do want to draw the Engineered Explosives, which means that I'm going to play Basic Forest and pass this turn. Because I don't need to, like, bluff white mana for any reason. And I can Force of Will something like Sylvan Library if I need to. And if they play Delver this turn, the Engineered Explosives can kill the Delver and the Carpet. Library. If I force that, then I lose Uro, and they could have Red Blast. I think this is okay. If they Red Blast this, then they're tapped out coming into my turn. I can play Teferi, bounce Sylvan Library, and then we just like replay that same turn, except I have Teferi in play. And if they have Daze or another counterspell, obviously this gets blown out. Alright, he's just in there. Ship the library. Alright, I love when both Terminuses are in my hand. That's the kind of Magic I'm trying to play. Abundant Harvest probably wants a land at this point. I guess it depends on my draw step. But the engineered explosives, if I draw a land, engineered explosives can clear library. Of course, if they just like play Clothis right now, I'm in some trouble. The game will get a lot easier if I get to just keep Teferi in play for a little while, but with between the Red Blasts and Lightning Bolts, if they're still have bolts in the deck, he's pretty fragile. They're thinking hard about this turn. Yeah, there's library. So I think drawing Narset. Narset is my best draw. Like, I draw Narset, I Abundant Harvest for a land, and then I get to invalidate the library. Oh, they're just turbo spewing brainstorms in case I cast Narset or Hull Breacher. That makes sense. Yeah, so Uro, I guess harvesting for a land. The land may or may not be green. I think I still need to do that. Okay, cool. It was green. And this plays into Wasteland, but I do need to get this moving forward. Force with no blue card to go with it. Unfortunate. They get to library now, and Carpet makes 2. I'm starting to fall behind pretty quick here. And if they find a Pyroblast at any time, like, they get to pick off the Teferi. That is a 2-for-1. Teferi already drew a card, so they would have to spend Pyroblast on a card that already drew a card, but library is going to do a lot more than that. Uro. Oh, do they have the full Stifle? If Uro has the Stifle... Okay, it didn't. That's good. I'm still just firing off these brainstorms. Make sure they don't get their hulls breached. Alright, Uro can show up next turn. If they have a second Carpet, Uro can show up right now. Oh, that's terrifying. Clothis is also bad, though. Yeah, finding Clothis. Oh, stomping Teferi. Sure, that's also good. That's all good. Everything they're doing is good. So, blue source. Oh, it's just Hull Breacher. Bummer. Alright. Hull Breacher. Found Hull Breacher after I'm done drawing Teferis. Or after Teferi leaves play, finally. Found the card I was looking for. Oh shit, I should have put Hull Breacher into play before the library triggered. What am I even doing? Yeah, I just totally forgot that was a thing. I was like, I'm gonna get the Uro, and then just, yeah, go nuts with your library. Maybe I'm supposed to force the Uro then? Like, if I've missed the boat this hard already? Yeah, I think that's probably a better plan. I mean, Red Blast, of course. Yeah, all these cards are really good. Alright, they have Uro to my not Uro. Just drawing 2 Terminus. This is why I've generally turned my control decks over to Supreme Verdict over Terminus. I just really don't like the lack of control you have over when this happens. We're at 5. Pondering. Okay, so my explosives can kill the Goyf and the library. I could also just put Uro in right now and try to win that fight. But if their hand is Force of Will, which, I mean, I can't beat anyway. I think I'm better off clearing the 2 permanents this turn. Play around Stifle, do this now. Yeah, I feel like I'm just a turn behind everything they're doing right now. Like they have the Uro, they have red mana in their deck. Like the red blast can fight over my Uro. They have more cards in hand. Here comes Bone Crusher Giant. And if I draw a land, I can also just cast Terminus, which, you know, cross your fingers and pray that that works. Alright, 7 spells in hand. They didn't put a land into play with Uro. Which I guess doesn't necessarily mean anything. It could just mean they're casting Brainstorm and don't need another land. Especially with Carpet around. And 2 minutes left on their clock, I think, is plenty of time to win this game. I guess it'll depend on if I can get my Uro to trigger once or not. Just getting a trigger off Uro would be a huge deal. Ooh, that's actually super exciting. Alright, let me see if this resolves. Please resolve. Please resolve. They only have 7 cards in hand. What are the odds? This kills their whole board. JK. Alright, well, I'm at 1. Go. If they have a Bone Crusher Giant, a Lightning Bolt, anything at all, basically. Yeah, they're bone crushing me. Oh, Brazen Borrower, that'll also do it. Alright. Yeah, this Rug deck is just insane. They're basically doing the same thing that I'm doing, except they have Red Blast after board and I don't. So, Rug, once again, showing up and showing out. Drawing the 2 Terminus, like I basically him to Tarocked myself during this game because I drew the Terminus at the bad time. Like, you don't have to put cards like this in your deck. Like, if these were Supreme Verdicts, look at this board. If this was Supreme Verdict instead of Terminus, just wham. Good luck winning the game in 1 minute after that. So, I would probably build this deck with Supreme Verdict over Terminus. That's just, you know, I prefer that amount of control over my draws. Also, Chromox pitching Supreme Verdict gives you blue and white instead of just white. So I would take it in that direction. So I'm on the play in round 4 with kind of a dump truck of a hand. I have a turn 2 Narset here and a turn 3 Days Undoing if I want to feed the Chromox. But I think I just want to Island Ponder and see what's going to happen. And then I can turn the corner on turn 2 if I still want to do that. God, I love basic Island Ponder. That is genuinely my favorite start in Legacy. So I probably want to do this. Uro is a good pitch to Chromox because it makes 2 colors that I want. Delver, come on. Alright, well, maybe I'll pitch Days Undoing and just jam the Uro then, if that's how this is going to be. Get my Snow Forest. Yeah, I'm probably not going to want a Days Undoing a Delver deck. And I don't super care if an Uro gets dazed. And I love if it doesn't. Just, 4 mana on turn 2, go. That's strong. It's safe to say that is strong. Nice days. I have 4 mana. 3 basic lands and a non-land mana source against Delver. Let's see if we can beat this one, though. The last opponent did kind of slap us around a bit. with their mid-range plan just being a better burrow deck than us afterboard. Swords to Plowshares. Fuck yeah. Alright, so I want to make my land drop and just play around Spell Pierce or really anything that could mess me up here. And I can plow this thing next turn, I'll still have life points to work with. Force Pitching Daze, sure. So I have the backup library, and I can do it all playing around Daze next turn, but Daze is gone. Or playing around Spell Pierce. I don't know if Spell Pierce is a card I even need to play around, but if I can, I will. Again, with Delver, I don't like to take any chances. And I'm probably going to lead on Plow next turn. Because I would rather resolve Library between the two. There was also a good window to resolve Narset there. Alright, but now the graveyard is just juiced up. They had to force that too. And that force pitched a Stifle, sure. My top card is a fetch land, so that Stifle being gone is pretty nice. Ooh, big whale. Well, time to find an answer to that. So, blue, blue. I think I need to tap the green. Don't stifle me. Brainstorm or Harvest? Which of these is better here? I think Brainstorm. Shit. Okay. Well, I'm in some trouble. Mentor or Harvest? Which of these cards is actually going to win me the game? I can still Harvest for non-land and possibly spike the Plow right now. Wow, you had Stifle. Come on. Why didn't you stifle the Narset activation then? Okay, they made a questionable play that ended up getting me. Like, you could stifle this. That's also an activated ability. So they put Brainstorm back in their hand. They get to clear Narset. Alright, so I can harvest. Oh, but the top of my deck is the two cards I didn't want last turn right now. Because I didn't get the shuffle. Did I leave Mentor on top? If I did, then like maybe there's still some action here. I hope I stacked that correctly. Oh, Narset was on top. Okay, that's actually good. So I can boop, 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 look for a Plow. All right, found Plow. Get rid of the whale. Can't force this. There's only one card in the hand. I don't mind so much if it gets dazed, because I can pay. So they're gonna jam up Hull Breacher. Do I want to Abundant Harvest into a daze? No. Play around daze anywhere you can, is the rule. Yeah, so Hexdrinker is gonna clear Narset. I have to invest 2 mana into that. Now I'm gonna need Terminus to clear that thing. They're just going straight to Progenitus mode. It'll be a Progenitus next turn. Yep. My deck does contain Terminus. Alright, what's the play? I could... No, I need a library. So I know there's a Terminus in the bottom 3 cards in my deck from Narset. Oh wow. That was a good card to have right now. Yeah, okay. Powerful technology. If they have this, that's probably in the space that like Uro and stuff would occupy otherwise. Okay, so put on top, put on top. Yeah, I guess like if they have force blue card, I just lose. I just really need Uro to show up here. And they did just get a lot of card selection out of the deal. I'm gonna exile my planeswalkers and enchantments in case they have Goyf. Alright, wrecked. I'm gonna go to 2 here, and then even Uro drawing a card doesn't help. So I gotta find Terminus and somehow cast it, and hope I don't just get bolted right now. Yeah, just missing on a green source for 100 turns cost me that game. There were a number of windows where Uro would have stuck, and we just didn't find them. Alright. So, Force of Negation, Force of Will, all super dangerous against Red Blast. And Hull Breacher isn't great against Red Blast either, but it does have some text. Do I want all 4 Uros? I think I'm less interested in Chrome Mox than... Like, that's what I've been doing, and I still think that feels right. I'm not sold on Surgical. I didn't see an Uro out of them, and we did see Expressive Iteration, and that does have to come in at some sort of deck building cost. So... Oh yeah, Days Undoing is a card I don't like against Delver. I think I want to do this. This is a little different than the last one because we saw 3 Uros in their main deck. Didn't see any Uros this time. So I can keep this. And I think I want to harvest for a non-land right away. Flusterstorm. That'll be good at some point. One of the few ways we have to punch through Red Blast. So I'm playing my library into Days, and I know that. I think I just want to get a second drop. I'm already exposed to Wasteland. Might as well lean in and make sure I still have green. Alright, got a 2-for-1 off of that. Red Blast, cool. Alright, they tap their red source to cast Brainstorm, so if they find a fetch land, they can Red Blast me. But if they do that, alright, cool. So I can beat a Daze then. Or I can't beat a Daze, but I can sneak this in before the Red Blast. I am just gonna be like jamming here. Alright, and I am more worried about the Delver. Like both my Terminuses and my the other thing, the Engineered Explosives are all still on the deck here. And if they want to replay Delver, then they can't level up Hex Drinker. Time for a Terminus. Alright, didn't pay off. So I can Hull Breacher with Flusterstorm backup. Or I could just jam Uro. Right, I'm gonna fetch. If they want to stifle right now, Flusterstorm can protect me. Yeah, I'm completely exposed to Wasteland, so I'm just gonna dig all the way in on that. And they know about the Flusterstorm. They don't know about the second one. Nice. I'm gonna harvest for a non-land. Alright, Teferi's back. Teferi can bounce Hexdrinker even if it does level up. Did they brainstorm last turn? Is that the same Red Blast or another one? I have to look back a little bit at the game log. I lost track. I don't know. I've lost track. That could be two or the same one. Not gonna lie, I have no idea. Just tight plays. I don't know what the top of my deck is, so drawing is fine. So I want a basic forest here so I can Uro with backup. Or do I want to stick to Fairy right now with backup? Yeah, I think I want a Teferi here. Because I can fluster that twice. Alright, there goes the Flusterstorm that they knew about. And one or maybe both of the Red Blasts are now gone. I'm gonna bounce Delver again. There we go. I was about to say, if we find Plow, we can clear the Hexdrinker. And Teferi gives me impunity to do that with. Hopefully they sink some points into it, but there's no reason to do that right now, because it already kills Teferi. Zap. Alright, that was great. Stable board. Alright, Pyroblast. Delver, sure. Now it's time to jam Uro with Flusterstorm backup. Actually, yeah, let's do that. I don't mind a 1-for-1 in this spot. It means I'm not playing Uro this turn, but that's okay. Like, I'm not playing Uro into days, forget it. Alright, removal and counterspell. Yeah, I'll make them act on their turn. I wish I knew if this Red Blast was there or not. Okay, they had days. And maybe I should have been patient with the Flusterstorm on that one, but that's a daze they don't have to fight over Uro now. Also means they're not casting Clothis that turn. Green, green, blue, blue. Exile the Planeswalkers in case they have Teferi. Or, Tarmogoyf. Yeah, Teferi. I have Teferi. You don't have Teferi. Alright, so good thing we worked through the days. If they have another one, they get me. But Uro just comes back next turn anyway. Alright, they did have 2 dazes. Uro will return. That's what Uro does. Alright, Tarmogoyf. Good thing I exiled those Planeswalkers. Green, green, blue, blue. They have All right, they don't have any lands, and I do. So land, land, land. They have lots of instants and one sorcery. Force of Will, huh? All right. Get rid of that while they're hellbent. And Uro will get another crack next turn. All right, the Flooded Strand lets me play around Daze. Because I would have had to harvest to get Uro into play, so just... Yeah, that was a classic aggro versus control matchup where we just cast Uro 3 times in the end game. I don't think I want to change anything here. They did split Red Blast and Pyroblast, so like Meddling Mage doesn't matter on that. Have my removal in. I think I have an appropriate number of forces in. Yeah, let's go. Back in there. I'll keep this. Opponent's on 5. They're on the play and on 5 cards, so I'm up 3 cards to start, so I hope I can leverage that. Alright, the Ponder means that my fetch land gets to resolve. That's the first big relief, because I did keep a 1-lander. Definitely fetching a basic. Hopefully the Ponder will find a green source for Sylvan Library, but I'm not going to fetch into Wasteland on the draw like that. So I have a Plow if they just jam Goyf. Nice. Ooh. Do I want to shove Library? No, I want to Plow and I can shove Library next turn. Like, I can Plow with Flusterstorm back up now, and I can Library with Flusterstorm back up next turn. And I can just have Flusterstorm this turn. Like, Wasteland messes this up, but that's okay. Yeah, they are on a Mull to 5, so I don't want to, like, give them anything for free. They did not shuffle their library. This is going to get the basic forest. At this point, I just want to make sure I'm set up for anything. Playing around Wasteland now by leaving up my island. Force of Will, okay. That's a little late to the party. The library's already in. Now I need to find a removal spell, and we'll be pretty good. Clothis would be a problem, though. Clothis is always a problem. Serial Forger. Okay. Alright, how about a Terminus? Yes. Hull Breacher and Mentor. Neither of these are helpful right now, so I'm gonna top both. Conserve my life total a little bit. I'm gonna fetch and cast Brainstorm. I guess I could Narset, and she would die immediately. It would leave them Hellbent, which is a little bit interesting. Yeah, I'm actually gonna go for Narset. And I would like to use her. Abundant Harvest, Flusterstorm, Brainstorm. I think Brainstorm is better. Because I already have a Fluster. And I need to be digging for Terminuses. So the Forager regrows a Ponder. Oh, no respect for Swords to Plowshares. Just going face.
Come on, Terminus. I believe this game ends on the spot if we Terminus, but if we don't, it could be in a lot of trouble. Uh, that's not what I can afford to fight over. I need this Flusterstorm to make sure my removal resolves. So they hit their land drop off of that. That's why that card is good. Terminus. Alright, top. Top again. This is not going well. And missing land drops is how you lose to Delver, and that's what's happened a few times here. Teferi versus Brainstorm. I mean, Teferi can at least take some pressure off me. Try to hit my land drop here. I'm gonna need it. I found Terminus. And I found Flusterstorm to back it up. Or I have Flusterstorm, but I have a land. Hit my land drop, and I have Terminus. Just hope I don't die to giant hits right now. Just gotta hope that they put at least some of the attacks on Narset. Alright, cool. Oh, changed their mind. Why does that matter? Interesting. I guess if I try to protect Narset with a removal spell, they would prefer Delver to die than Forager. But Forager, I don't know, it doesn't matter. Cast 2 Tarmogoyfs, please. Not that. Not that one. Shit. That's the card I needed them to not have exactly right now. Alright, cool. 2 more libraries. Alright, so if they force, I can Fluster, yeah. Storm is 3. And they only have 2. And then Teferi can bounce Klothys. And Daze or Red Blast both mess that up. But I think it's the best play that I have. Teferi is a blue card. Unfortunately. Alright, Daze is gone. And now I am gonna die slowly to Klothys. I know that the top cards of my library are bad. They're both more libraries. Teferi is really the only thing I had going for me here. Top. Gotta keep spinning. I should put the Terminus on top. Don't think I can Daze Undoing here. It's just not helpful at all. Maybe I'm supposed to play the second library? Does that even do anything? I don't think so. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm a mana short of even getting the Uro. Top. I think we're just gonna die to Klothys here. What can I do right now? I know that my top 2 cards are not helpful. I think I just have to pass. Like, getting a creature of my own into play and plowing it could be good. Like, if I find an Uro and I play the Uro, gain 3, plow the Uro, go to gain 9. That could be a path forward. Hopefully they sink a bunch of mana into this, but if they just hold up Lightning Bolt, they can't lose. Show me Uro. I guess it doesn't even matter because Terminus was the draw for turn. So I have to Brainstorm into Ponder, into Uro, and Plow Uro. And if they just have Bolt, I lose. Yeah, Rug is tough. Really tough matchup for this deck. Which is weird because generally I would think that a Bant deck should be favored in that sort of matchup. This card is indestructible. Cannot be destructed. That really needed that to be Uro. Alright, we're dead. Yeah, Klothys is a problem. No answer to Klothys in the 75. I don't like that. It would be pretty easy just to put in a Council's Judgment or something to dig for. Teferi and like forces. It's just really awkward that you want to board out your forces in the matchup where you need force to answer their certain card. Like, I don't think I'm supposed to be bringing in Meddling Mage and naming Klothys with it. That just doesn't seem right. So I probably fit a Council's Judgment into the 75 somewhere and turn Terminus into Supreme Verdict. Those are the changes I would make to this deck at the moment. I'm on the draw in the final round with a hand that would be great with Chrome Mox, but can't keep it as it is. Speaking of Chrome Mox, I'm going to keep this and send, I think, Tundra to the bottom. Opponent's also on 6. Having Force Blue card when your opponent starts to mulligan is nice. Maybe it's just me being a goof, but like if I see opponent's mulligan, I always fear like, oh, they're a combo deck. And sometimes you're right. Faithless Looting. The sweet art of Faithless Looting. I hated this so much the first time I saw it, but it's grown on me so much. I love this. I'm so glad it's a Magic card. Okay, so they are doing that. In that case, I'm gonna ponder and look for some more interaction. That's not it. Okay, Teferi's not bad. This deck doesn't play Daze, so I don't need to move in real quick on like pitching anything to my Chrome Mox. If I draw a spell, all right, cool. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So this is exactly what Matt mentioned, Matt Fook, the designer of this deck. He made like a Twitter post about it where he answered some questions, and he said that pitching Plow and Terminus against combo decks is like kind of the point of all this. It's just like a really good way to get value. And sticking to Fairy means my Force of Will work when I get around to it. I am going to plus to Fairy just in case they get something into play somehow this turn. But their Faithless Looting didn't discard something they actually want to pitch. This is like a pretty big problem for their deck. Alright, now I'm going to draw a card. Target nothing. Alright, deck. Had enough of that. And I'm not going to jam my Uro because I'm just super worried about not hitting a blue card. And this game is mine to lose right now, and I would prefer not to lose it. Alright, there's a blue card. Now I can make 2 land drops with Uro. I'll get that Sylvan Library in. Alright, this should shut it down. I can ponder in their end step if that's something I want to do. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think that is worth doing. Because that is the 5th card for Uro. I'll take Ponder because that is a blue card. Just pay for everything because Uro's coming in this turn. Blue, green, green, blue. So they're at 7 cards in hand, which means that this turn they can start discarding to hand size and get something into the graveyard. I'm just going to hope it's too late for that. And I'm going to pitch this Terminus to another Chrome Mox. So Swords to Plowshares is actually pretty good against their deck when I have Teferi in play. Like, I just don't see myself losing this game at this point. Of course I say that and I'm going to lose immediately. But I'm allowed to think what I want. So the one thing I need to actually worry about here is Tendrils, because my life total is pretty low. Just want to make sure I don't get stormed out. But I have a lot of Swords to Plowshares here. Probably a lot more than I need. Because the number that I need is actually just 0. Get rid of one of these. I guess I can hold on to one of them. Can harvest for a spell. On land. Found another harvest. Not bad. Ponder. Alright, the second force is what I was looking for here. And now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can double force. I can cast all my spells at instant speed. I can plow Uro if I need a sudden boost of life. I think we're good here. They're unmasking me. I don't even care. I have 2 forces and 3 ways to dig for another force if necessary. Plus I can just remove the monster they put into play. Yeah, alright, just take a look and pack it up. Alright, so we dodged there a little bit. Just the combo deck failed to function. I want Surgicals and Priests, obviously. Flusterstorm. Hullbreacher is insane against Grizzlebrand. I don't think that I want Force of Vigor, even though it does hit Animate Dead. Meddling Mage. Let me see what I have room for to bring in. So Terminus is not great. I don't like Days Undoing here. I don't think I need this many Uros. Like, this is a matchup I'm gonna win or I'm not. And, like, the gain 3 life, draw 1 card of Uro is not really super important to the plan. I want most of my 1-drops. I think I do want... Do I want this many plows? I don't think so. Do I want this many libraries? Library's really good, especially with the Chrome Mox. Narset is fine. Teferi doesn't matter a lot. I just make sure that I think all of these cards are better than all of these cards. And yes, I do believe that to be the truth. Okay, so Teferis can go. I want all the forces. The number of plows is debatable, because generally you're better served to keep the monsters out of play in the first place than to try to fight them once they're there. But sometimes they do just get into play, and like if they go for a turn 1 Chancellor, you can just like take 15 from that card and then cast a Swords to Plowshares on turn 3 and win those sort of games. But I think this makes sense here. That's every counterspell, every graveyard hate card, everything that stops them from drawing cards because they are a Grizzlebrand deck. I don't think that Meddling Mage is better than Uro. Is Meddling Mage better than Swords to Plowshares? Maybe? Alright, I'll try this. I'll bring in one and see how it plays. The problem is that they have so many different ways to bring their creatures back. Oh god. I actually think this hand is good. So here's why. It has Force of Will, and it has Surgical. It has 2 0-mana points of interaction. I can pitch Uro to Chrome Mox, and then it becomes a tropical island. And that can Abundant Growth for a land, and all but 1 land in the deck. Or there's 2 lands in the deck that don't cast Ponder. But yeah, I actually think this hand is good. In this specific matchup. I would not probably keep this against most things. However, if they unmask my Chrome Mox, I am in trouble. So I probably just force an unmask, honestly. Let's see what they got. Paddle. Cabal Therapy. So that's going to name Force of Will. But then they get to see the Surgical. Yeah, so I'm just going to force this. I want to hide the Surgical. Also hide the fact that I'm all in on this Chrome Mox. Alright, so what could their last card in hand be? Imprinting something on Chrome Mox there is really weird. I'm not gonna lie. Very strange play. Alright, so here's a sweep line. I get to Chrome Mox, exile Uro. I get to Ponder off of the Chrome Mox, then shuffle the Ponder, and cast Abundant Growth. I have no white mana, but I think that's okay. Non-land, another harvest, cool. Alright, so 2 cards in hand, nothing in their graveyard. I don't know what I need to worry about here, but I'm not worried. Alright, that makes it pretty easy. I'm going to harvest for a land now, because now if I get a Hull Breacher in, I can start beating down. And now if I draw my white cards, Priest or whatever, they're online. Nice. Hardcast that one. I'm going to end step Hull Breacher and then untap with Force of Negation and Surgical, and this game should be pretty elementary from here. This also means that even if they stick Grizzlebrand, it's just a 7/7, and then I have lots of answers to a 7/7 in the deck. Lots might be generous. I have some answers to a 7/7 in the deck. But I would be super impressed if they can get a Grizzlebrand even into their graveyard, much less into play. All right, well, there's Meddling Mage. Having it on the front end like this makes it easy, because now I can just name Entomb. Entomb. Yeah, it's tougher when the creature's already in the graveyard, because then you have to just guess, do they have Reanimate, Exhume, or Animate Dead? But shutting off Entomb is nice. This does tap me out of Hardcast Force of Negation, but it does cut several turns off the clock. They're on a 3-turn clock now. They were on a 5-turn clock before this. Oh, GG's in the chat. Alright, they're packing it up. Those weren't particularly GG's. No offense to my opponent, it's just they did not really play out. I had fun, but they were not great. So I'm going to make the changes that I suggested. So Supreme Verdict. I just like this card better than Terminus. That's been true for several years. If you watch my stuff, if you read my stuff, if you talk to me on Patreon, you know that this is true. This is just a card that I think is better than Terminus. The variance of Terminus and just only having Brainstorm basically in the format to set it up versus the top days where you could just float it forever. It's just not what it once was. So maybe I don't want Council's Judgment. I have a better plan. Celestial Purge is a card that I'm super into, and that answers Clothis as well as Merit Lage, Blood Moon, various Lilianas. So whatever, like there's a bunch of things that Celestial Purge hits. Exiles target black or red permanent. It's also something that you can cast on turn 1 under Chrome Mox. Like imagine if your opponent does like a Chrome Mox, pitch something, City of Traders, Blood Moon, and you're just like Mountain, pitch Swords to Plowshares, Celestial Purge. That's nice. So I gotta cut a card from this sideboard. I think that the Hull Breacher is a little redundant. Like you already have 3 Narsets in the main. I think Hull Breacher is the card with the lowest value over replacement because you're literally already overvaluing a different replacement for it in the main. So I think the Celestial Purge does something different enough for the deck that we don't need more of the same in Hull Breacher. And if your metagame dictates it, you might want even more of this sort of thing. So those are my changes. The Chrome Mox was pretty impressive. I'm fairly confident I wouldn't want 4, but I did like the 3. And Abundant Harvest, very good card. Genuinely impressed by this performance the whole time. I will be ordering a playset off of the internet immediately when I'm done recording here, and I suggest you do the same. I think it's like $2 right now. Just pick it up. If you play Legacy, you're going to need it. And I like this deck overall. Pretty cool experiment. It takes a different kind of deck designer to put Chrome Mox in your control deck, but I think it paid off. So great deck. Matthew, Sam, thanks for asking me to play it. Everyone else, thanks for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.